Hello, in this video we will be talking about extroversion versus introversion. Now in the last video we talked about personality preferences and how to identify them by looking for those things that come most naturally to us, and then take less energy to perform. In this video I will explain those extroversion and introversion preferences, personality preferences, in more detail and also help you to determine what your personality preferences may be. Also, there is a worksheet that goes along with this video, so you can print that off and use it. It is titled Exploring Personality Type Worksheet. Okay, so here are two images. Which picture here describes you best? Here we have a party with lots of people, a lot of high energy, those people that are oriented toward external stimuli or loud music or colors or lights. Does this sound like your type of thing? Are you into this much more and into socializing and this much external stimuli? Or maybe you like to bundle up at home more often, rest and recharge and read a book. You may value alone time more. These images show us where our energy comes from. Some get it from the outside sources such as parties or being around people. Others get it from within. To help with this concept, there are two other pictures here, one with solar panels, the other a cord in an outlet. What does this mean? Those who are extroverted typically get energy from the outside, from actively doing things, while those who are more introverted typically like to be at home and recharge. And a good indication if you are extroverted is if you feel energized after being with people, and with people, even strangers. A good indication if you are more introverted is if you like being around a lot of people, or strangers, and having to talk to them drains your energy dramatically, and you feel like you need to go home and relax and recharge. Those who are more extroverted tend to initiate conversations more. They have many relationships with many people, but sometimes have less deep or meaningful relationships than the introverts do. The introverts tend to receive conversations more, while extroverts also tend to have more expressive behavior, while introverts have more contained behavior. Extroverts are typically viewed as good talkers, whereas introverts are more, and even complimented more even, as good listeners. Those who are extroverted tend to talk things out. They often use rapid speech and may often interrupt others. They often use a loud volume of voice and appear to think out loud, whereas introverted type of people tend to think longer before they speak. They tend to be more quiet or reserved and have less volume to their voice. They often speak in shorter sentences as well. Okay, time for an exercise. Let's say your birthday is coming up and your friend wants you to throw a party. There's no way getting out of it, by the way. In the attachment Exploring Personality Type Worksheet, there is a segment where you can write down all the aspects of your party. For this exercise, answer the following questions. Who would you invite to the party? What type of activities would you have? And what is the ideal environment for this party for you? Take some time to write this down, and you can pause this video as well. I do this with students all the time, and the results are interesting. Typically, the introverted individuals only want people close to them at the party that they would gravitate towards or to attend. The extroverted people are comfortable with having many people, even strangers. Now let's look at your responses, or what you thought your responses are. And if you're extroverted, you probably want a lot of high energy activities. You probably like loud music and dancing maybe. You probably want a karaoke machine or something. You would want to invite a lot of people, friends, of friends even, that you don't even know. You may want this party to be the loudest on the block or the most energizing. However, if you're an introverted individual, you may most likely want the party to be low energy and even low key. You probably want to only invite those closest to you and keep it in small groups. Your games would most likely be board games or card games in an intimate setting. I've taught classes on this before again, and sometimes strong introverts explain their parties as the loudest on the block, and with a lot of people showing up, even random people they do not even know, and they have typically selected loud music and just a huge production for this party. Whereas the introverted individuals report that they like to initiate in settings where only close friends and family are, just playing games or cards or casual talking and so on. Altogether, introverts are usually attached and attracted to much lower energy. What are your responses more like? Do you have and like high energy, lots of people, or low energy with only those close family members and friends? On this worksheet again, titled Exploring Personality Type Worksheet, there is a part of the worksheet that also states where your attention is focused. This is the document here. Again, I recommend printing this worksheet off and going through it. Look over the statements that apply to you. In the places that I've worked in the past again, and I know many universities, career services centers typically do like to get a self-report from students and compare that self-report to the official assessment results. That way, if the responses are consistent, that gives us a good indication of your preferences. Because again, preferences are based on your self-awareness of them. We like to see the overlap of your self-report based on this exercise or this worksheet compared to your official MBTI results. Okay, now think of different type of occupations that best fit extroverts and those that fit or may better fit introverts. What would they be? The extroverted occupations would be those maybe that receive energy from the outside world and from other people, typically using a lot of speaking and persuasion maybe. This may include a lawyer, someone in public relations, even event planner. These are the occupations that have direct contact with other people and will draw from an extroverted preference for speaking and perhaps directing others. And then introverted occupations might be those occupations that are not so focused on directing or motivating others, but sticking to a particular task. Why is this important though? This is important because some extroverts would hate their job as a graphic design artist, as an example, or being in front of a computer screen all day. An introverted individual would not want to be a lawyer because it may drain their energy too much, having to perform in front of people and having to speak and persuade too much. This is why this is very important to understand what your MBTI type is and how it's related to career planning and life development, different aspects of life, because when you know this information, it can help you to gauge your career direction or life direction and how you can leverage your skills instead of working so much on your weaknesses. But this isn't only important for selecting a career, it also helps you deal with interpersonal conflicts. Do you know someone who embodies the extrovert qualities? If you are introverted, have you ever thought you sometimes may find that they can become annoying to you or talk all about themselves, or even you might, or some people might think that they're selfish for taking all the energy in the room? Or perhaps you are extroverted. Do you know someone that embodies all the introverted qualities? Does this give you more of a perspective that they may deal with problems and challenges differently? They may need to spend time alone and recharge and think and take more time to think. Not because they do not want to be around you, but they need to think before they speak, sometimes feeling overwhelmed and having to engage in much conversation. They may not necessarily be shy, but are reserving their energy for mental tasks. What potential strengths do extroverts have, and what strengths do introverts have? What might be a good occupation for extroverts? There's some great and pretty typical occupation for extroverts and introverts, but there is much more. Now in the next video, we will cover the sensing and intuition dichotomy. See you then.